Почитувани гледачи, еве го и вториот дел од разговорот со Линда Ваноф од Холивуд, Калифорнија. Им благодариме на сите спонзори, чии имиња ги гледате на вашите екрани, за нивната несебична поддршка за реализирањето на овој потфат.
What was it like growing up as a young girl and being in that show business environment with your Uncle Nick?
Well, like I said, my dad was the talent coordinator for the Hollywood Palace. So I spent a lot of time going to visit my dad on set and, meeting the different celebrities. I remember distinctly meeting Sonny and Cher, and that was a huge deal. The kids at school, it was overwhelming for them. And I got teased when I was actually on the show with Bing Crosby. I felt very embarrassed getting that kind of attention. At the time, too, Batman was a popular show, and we had the opportunity to sit in the Batmobile because Adam West was one of the hosts that week on the show, or 1 week on the show. So my brother got to sit in the Batmobile, and that was so exciting. So it was just really an interesting experience, too, to not only meet celebrities, but their children. I met Mary Crosby. Just growing up in that normalized it for me. I learned that, we're all just people and we're all doing what we love doing. And so it just, again, became so much about family. Coming from a Macedonian culture, so much about it is holiday, Easter, Macedonian food.
What's your favorite Macedonian food?
Oh, I would have to say my grandmother made...
Your Baba?
Baba, yeah. Well, we would call her name was Serafima, Fima. She would
Baba
make...
Fima.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually had an aunt, Baba Fima, as well.
Oh, yes. She would make phyllo from scratch. So I remember as a little girl her rolling out the phyllo dough. So I would say zelnik. Zelnik was probably my most favorite food, and baklava, of course. But to this day, I eat feta cheese every day. I love feta cheese, plain yogurt. Yogurt, I grew up eating plain yogurt my whole life. I could make a whole meal out of plain yogurt, feta cheese, a little pita bread, a little zelnik. Oh, stuffed grape leaves. I remember helping my grandmother stuff grape leaves.
How about polniti piperki?
Exactly.
The same, stuffed peppers as well.
Exactly.
Now, tell us about your time in Canada. You visited the Macedonian community, your relatives in Canada, in Toronto. Tell us about that.
Well, I went for my aunt's wedding, and we spent a lot of time in Buffalo. I was 12 at the time, and my aunt was getting married. So I had the opportunity to visit Toronto for the first time and see Crystal Beach and meet several of my cousins and second cousins in Toronto, my great uncle, my grandmother's brother. So it gave me a much different perspective. Again, pretty much growing up in California. I moved here when I was 7. So I really don't remember too much about Buffalo, other than, of course, the snow and going back when I was 12 for my aunt's wedding. But it was great getting that perspective and getting to meet my relatives.
From what I understand from people in Toronto, the relationship of the Vanoff family, actually the original name was the Dajkovi,
Yes.
the Yancoff family.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Getting towards the end of today's interview, coming towards the end of today's interview, first of all, I'd like to ask you, do you have a message for young Canadian Macedonians and our friends for advice on becoming successful or going their own way in their career? Because you've obviously done quite well in your career. Do you have any advice?
Well, like my uncle said, go the extra mile. I'd say that, and making it on your own. Going that extra mile, taking that extra time to be nice to everyone you encounter. I remember my uncle would say good morning to everybody. He was not pretentious. He would say hi to, the workers on the lot. Everybody that said hello to him, he'd always say hello. He really believed in hard work. I remember when I worked for him as the receptionist, and I'd have to give him his messages, he would stay and work until 7:30 some nights, returning everybody's phone call. Everybody. He would never miss a return phone call. He believed in treating people really well, giving people respect, showing them a lot of honor and respect, not feeling above it, not being pretentious, being humble, doing a good job. And really, it's about just putting one foot in front of the other. He had that really strong work ethic. So it's not about becoming famous per se. It's about the journey. It's about putting one foot in front of the other and taking those small steps and doing a good job on a daily basis. That's how you become successful.
You're a renowned photographer in your own right, and
thank you.
I am very impressed by that person. I think all of our viewers would be the fact that you've been featured in many national and international publications like 17 Cosmo and Venice and Entertainment Weekly, People, Latin Style. I mean, that's very impressive.
Well, I've had many opportunities, and I'm very grateful for those opportunities. Typically, what happens in Hollywood is you get to work for one person, and if you do a good job, they refer you to the next person. Just like it would happen in a corporate environment as well, it's really important to do a good job and show up on time and put your best foot forward. Treat people with honor and respect, treat people as equals, and do a good job. Just putting the work in, taking the time, knowing your craft. A lot of young actors come to LA and they think, oh, I'm good looking, I'm going to get a job. Well, it doesn't always work that way. It's difficult. You have to put the time in, the work, learn what you're doing, learn the craft.
Are you proud of your Macedonian heritage?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. It's a rare heritage, if you will. It's a really beautiful culture, and I'm very proud of it.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to the Macedonian Heritage Hour here in West Hollywood, California. Dragi Makedonci, naši prijatelji, to беше разговорот со Linda Vanoff, познатиот американски фотограф од, како што реков, West Hollywood, California.
Thank you so much. Thank you.